still around the city, around this land, still thinking future, still thinking justice. October 3rd, 2014, 1708. This one says, '70. All as I said were clear, and all as I said were a fact. The accomplishment, but the same clear fact of everything as what announced just happened. When I still survive, I am still who I am. Israel still is Israel, and everyone which real remains real forever. Went through the city thinking perhaps just gone to a coffee shop. There are no piano bars around here that I know to be able to having a moment with a very soft, special music, maybe sharing some singing, some special moment, making some jazz, or perhaps some opera or simple popular singing and worship. And the reality of that in this land is really not proper for a certain fact, which the only worship here is for abominables. Every time one all gender, all age, rapist and so fire, dressed in uniform as squadrons, Balash humanity remaining every day, comes to making the heroic underbelly chat with Sodoma meat to deliver the destruction and the pain of the class of mine, and pretending I do charge people, saying they do to me, gets that heroic face in front of Cristina Fernanda de Kirchner and officialism Argentina to being praised, saying honorable Australian patriot to do is promoted and having prizes, and some earning after rape and murder whoever to be in the middle as houses, cars, and pleasure, tourism, journey to having rape in other places, like in a very paradisiac playing the subword of Sonoma. This is a normal fact in Buenos Aires and pretended of government, Kirchner's corporation of criminals, corporation of demons, corporation of abominables, corporation of all class of obstinated, sadistic, disgusting, twisting, called Achni Balansa, which are and forever the pardon of victims. So the reality of the soul delivered into the state here in Buenos Aires, even in Rio de Janeiro, even in Montevideo and Santiago de Chile, where 28,104 members state murdered, to the fact of ahead what Kirchner says can be done. Officialism Argentina. And not only that, but still remain in the class of fact to judicial, policial making up. You know, I were about to come into any coffee shop having a networks session, producing something wrong. I gotta do still much more. There's a lot of more people to rescue. And the same, I'm sorry for the ill ones used. Vectors and vehicles for disaster. Evangelics in Argentina and associated. The heads and the responsibles of this saying Lord transferred to them my spirit, which never happened anymore. And while I were having this communication with Your Honor and royalties and the fact of states, which I to be a separate library megalomaniac, maniac persecutor still, in the middle of the most of the brazenest abominations, pretender of government of Argentina and of the world, saying that they are going to be where we are, and us, especially me. And also that. Just happened that this evangelics telling Lord Kate and them, and we're doing what I, with Your Honor's ICC and state, we're doing to conversing in front of justice and law about this whole disaster, which also charges up on my life, telling locally still that I will be mismedicated in the medication, and in the world that I will be the cyber terrorist and cyber organized criminal for the making the disaster they do. And pretends still that the library's character of obsessive, vicious demons, telling they are gonna be God and all as cats, and the cat himself and every one of his are gonna be who they are, pretending the hottest pockets of the switch out magic. I have the anointment and the faith, and I'm gonna save them, and Lord is gonna have to recognize I am and I were right. No matter who they die, but they pretend to say that demons, and saying God is going to recognize and accept that, and they be right. And the demons are going to converse in angels, the figure of Lucifer. I'm sorry for this, ashamedly for the victims, and for fact of abominables the rest. It's exactly this. You know, even though the whole of the day, and not only the whole of the day, and the whole of the month, and year, and decade, and century, and millennium, and not only the millennium, but also history, giving us so much more than we never expressed, we never seen. I'm going to tell you certain realities on this video today, and I'm tired. I'm trying to establish all the clouds of a character and not that I'm going to be different, and not tolerate, not accept, and nothing else of this abuse. For the fact of the name of Christian and the ones I know. For the same times and after all we've been through, and the clear fact that I've been forced in so much penetration, besmirching, destruction on the character of murdering 5 women and making disaster, which it still does. I'm gonna start to try to not be classy. I need to be classy in between. And I need the name of a night to be understood. The name of mine again. And with this song, the name of the clear fact of his faith. If that is classy, best. But for the name of his and mine, as best as a perfect fire. Alright. For the clear fact, I just went through for something while remaining here less important and not important at all, but a simplicity. While making what I had to, I've been chased, persecuted all around by vicious obsessives from violent forces, delivering and making other classical things and sending the ones to murder for the reason of they will discover the truth and will be inevitable no matter they've done for the succeed the generations and abominables. qualitative. So I just went to BLYTT, Buenos Aires, where is this marroquinerie, accessories and materials. And then I bought elements for this umbrella. You know, are strong, are the best. The compact ones, at least, they're to be a very special built with material and metallic or polymeric. Normally breaks and doesn't has lifetime. These are the strongest. So suddenly, here today were a very rainy day, and I just taken the chance. Also, you were not one I to do. So I came to Casa Sergio in Buenos Aires, and I went to buy these supplements, and I bought this, which we call here mosquito, couple of very small, tiny, and this polymeric, very special band. This one's which calls piranhas. So I just thought about making this, which in a time in Italy as in Europe were called fucile, for woman. But I thought not about the fashion. I thought about my hands free while stopped raining and having the comfortable to not lose it and to still carrying my umbrella for any casual start raining again, or simply coming to my address or whatever I go with my belonging. So it's comfortable. And it's not a fucile, it's a simple umbrella with a very special supplement which is useful for I to carry and be comfortable as any moment my free hands in utility. Then started to saying that I pretended to be la femme. And started to saying that I pretended to be a blefechmo kamafi. And started to saying I were a blefechmo kamafi and bespachat machli kushpat machlecha. And I stole them to the Yarmara Supreme. What is this? And the umbrella that my sister Monica gave me. And also the implements that I just bought a couple of blocks here, and even that I end my tab on this right here because if I had to come back to my address. So ended it right at my table inside the surface I am now. Couple of minutes ago. Well, the clear fact of the soul delivered us into always the same ones, the same communities of Guillermo Horacio Pren, and the ones of Osvaldo Carnival, which are associated with Policía Federal Argentina, Prefectura Naval Argentina, Gendarmería Nacional, CIDE, Policía de Seguridad Aeroportuaria, and Metropolitana. All over, telling all places as institutions running to that I were stealing and making disasters, and I were a sacrilege that were also defending them and guessing them to stealing them because if I were in the area. BLYTT, saying that I come to guess them and steal them, whatever they got, whatever they have. And them communities are the thieves that premeditates about people inside and outside, especially mine, which I'm not saying inside, but understood friends, or people which victims suffers, which studies them, reads them like brain and eats normally does, to citing them and hunting them and making all class of attempts inside and outside institutions and telling Lord gave them to us, we have right to take. So attacks them in the streets, robs them backpacks, devices, documents, credit cards, money, clothes, and even shoes, and says we have right, Lord gave them to us. and says that I do that. So we're 9,808 more denounces telling that I were robbing at Avellaneda Avenue and trying to attack the Jewish population there and robbing them. Buenos Aires, commercial town. That I were around Avellaneda city or county, right in Buenos Aires suburban, robbing to peoples that will be of them. That I robbed them 9,008 cell phones. This, the umbrella, and the laptop I cut, which is the one I use, and also some other devices that they said I quickly, with a market I handle and the whole of the customers I cut, I sold them already for the my supposed payment. And I will still be the Supernarco over the whole of the money of reimbursement by justice by international criminal code that I got for the less humanity still happening to me here and against my generation. And even then, behind that, telling I robbed the government of the Argentina with the invention and accomplices of international criminal code, states of US, Israel, and Europe, and also United Nations and coalition, WHO, and even human rights, telling that I robbed to the government of the Argentinian base of lies, and I provoked myself the damages and destructions that I instigated them, said, over inducting and manipulating so smartly, and so like a 10-supper witch. They are, not I. For the reality they to have to pay me in base of all I staged myself and damaged myself for this to happen, and to destroy them and rob them with forgery, and kept on making the whole invention over the whole of what they says will do to here, to it. That were the terms to the United States of America that says to the government, ready to taking balance humanity, the government of the US, and trying to side Israel. So, this day, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner and Policía Federal Argentina pretended to take in the government of Israel and almost murdered and murders the same government of Israel and the whole as BRNC Israel, and saying that they could own and possessing the whole of the richness, the whole of found on land, inland, downland, and even send them with everything within, even human beings. In the middle of this all murdered 84,000 more, round number, in Argentina, that already kidnapped people of Amia, kept on saying that the whole of my friends and anyone related on Justice Party's Argentina and my name could be arrested terrorists for offenses and damaging the government, which are delivered into massive rape and murder by the Sodoma of Cristina Kirchner expertises as eliminables of that Sodoma. And through this all, I just came through this all and walking and taking buses and making my duty as best as possible, which I have. So simply, persecuted, chased, saying, we do to it here today. He got on making what we say, and because of he doesn't do it, we will kill it. And there's the same, of course. And the thing is, because of he's not working, he needs medication. But he's not working because of he has a very condition or situation which is not demons. I don't care because of he gotta work because of recommend. And what's supposed he to do after you rob him? Even the last chap on Mercedes-Benz, Daimler Chrysler, Daimler Benz, Argentina and Europe. I don't know, those chaps were ours and we didn't allow to it, and he got a work of what we say must do. So the idea of them is I to be naked, and there's to saying we are gonna do it to it. Running on the streets for my life with no possession, just completely naked, nudity, saying that even my clothes and everything, and even my body belongs to them, that I gotta run for my life expecting my God to taking my existence and deliver the body better for him. And still the sickle criminals, vicious, abominable, staying serious, too serious what this one just done to you all. Paid for the making this class of an arguments and making up in a class about the generations and manipulations for the coverage of how dare you to say this government out of the Federal Police of Argentina, how dare you to say this is happening and they are doing this, how dare you to hearing this one, to suppress and destroying murder, to keep that circus of this Apatza. So suddenly, in the middle of this reality, I'm found with the whole of the armed forces Argentina chasing me in civil cars, and I just described to your honors already, and given the identity of everyone and what they were seeking already is in hands of justice and in Argentina. And in the middle of this all went to kidnap more people, telling that they were helping a criminal and damaging evangelics, and also forensics, and also presidents, how dares, and telling we do to it here, this son of the word, we paid on what he done to us. And the demon says the same, is what they are. So the reality of the soul, in a clear fact, Policía Federal Argentina kept on organizing all abominables in the world, but the number is only 106,504. It's a gate. I already done my massive job in the name of justice. With 300 you say you and the field God. Not to me. And I gotta be needed with medication. Watch to the schizophrenia. Watch to the imaginary of. Watch for it's what it wants, it's what it desires. Of course, and we know the patterns of the desire, but you know yourself so well, the way you say. Okay. You're wrong. Like I said, play with the psychopath, play with yourself. Chase the psychopath, chase yourself. That's what you are. And in the middle of the soul started to making more damages and destructions, and forgeries, and rapes, and murders, and still the little clown monsters of the artificial insemination we denounced were producing, making the duty of El Fala. The same Hamunatra Khoblu Abmakapasa Ufut Mahansu. And in the middle of the rapes, there are no kids. There cannot be kids groping the rape instrument of Sonora, making the supposed witchcraft empowering. And I'm sorry this, but it's a fact. Will be published in front of the world, so the world understand, with not need to showing the act, and not need to showing what it is, the genitally. For you to understand what is Cristina Kirchner officialism Argentina and the patriarch of hell Argentina, which says, gotta be done what gotta be done, and they commands. And they to be kings and queens in the world, and the Queen of the United States of America, for your friends. the letters pretended to be expecting to be the believer of my genetics and the secret of cat in my brain for making the incitation for anyone that wants to know to the easy murder and extermination program for after anyone that can be the possible defension tells catching me that I will ever shield myself with. So the reality of this soul also supposedly I will kill myself with death in the manipulation of the Apomenos test. The reality is I am not sharing in no one and trying to sustaining everyone without I were to proceed into the village. But I don't believe that you are going to see as well. My father's commandment for me and everything. And my father is the precious Kadosh Erachai Elohim. Kadosh, 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 in the middle of this moon. The clear reality of this also delivered into even Oken for a second day, telling that I had a coming to the making the work that they says I had to. I had to be working for not being terminated, says, with Borda Aguiar Pinheiro Argerich, Chorroca, and the rest of Abominables, Presidents Argentina, and Puerto Dominico except for the flights to Neves. And in the middle of the soul, my supposed Solaris, being that I had to come to prostitute myself, work like a transvestite, work about robbing or going to asking to the phony police station the merchandise, drugs, for the selling all around and keeping the 90% and keeping the 10 and taking my chunky stuff they will provide me like I've done forcedly to 8,004 of my friends, and after that produced the causes saying they were chunkies and dangerous and criminals and they had to be internated, and also after raped and murdered because of had to be done in Thursday's name, of course. And after this delivered this into more of destruction, saying that I had it cold like a car border in Buenos Aires, carrying my chariot and picking the whole of the cardboard tank in the streets, and any plastic bottle, glass bottle, and any recyclable material for I sale for coins, and I kept my supposed chunky stuff sleeping in the same chariot or in a very homeless character, shoeless, naked, and whatever to happen. I will remain that way, for they do not murder. My brothers, my friends, and the ones I love. And there's the saying, because of this sad, we're gonna do worse. And there's the saying, doesn't like sad, we are gonna do worse. Rotaries of Armed Forces Argentina with a number of stars, patriotic homeland. And Kirchner's. In the middle of the soul, the reality of this came with he's making a strike. He's striking us. He's striking the government. He's making damages to the land, and he must pay his debt. Sorry. The clear fact is she's gonna pay with them. And I say them because of she is a legion. Kirchner's and CFK is a legion. They are gonna pay for all the gas to the world, and first of all to Almighty, and to his nation forever. And the clear fact of this is what I were about to kill you. So they says, I do for the whole inventions they do about my person, besides to being a supposed demon that I will produce the whole of the pain and destructions all around, and to everybody manipulating everybody and everything. And they will have the spirit of the God that they repudiated always. Power, power, power. That I exist. And I will be schizophrenic, delirious, still sliding schizophrenic teller, guessing around, squeezing, sliding one from my hands. So they're making what they says, but we gotta watch him more because of we already done this all, and he already done what we knew he were about it doing. So anytime like he to be free, he's gonna act for what we knew and we said he were doing permanently. So the reality of this, vicious, abominable degenerates, pretender of government and reason and national security techniques, so on, making the profanation all over again for the tellers, profanity, divinatory, possessive witchcraft, producing, to that massively rape all class, all gender, all age, and animal, to the same that's government and authority, and gotta be time, and government of the world, and right to do. And much other like robbing, destroying, forging, making out, organizing, all class of an abominable like them. And not only to me. Still trading on the Argentina and much other, telling he doesn't know yet. Already we imagine Sodoma what this, which is not threatening to everyone that's. Now it's turn. We already done to it. We have the whole of the gases and evangelics were right here robbed and he taken all over. And he also guesses the reason why, because of tells what we are doing and saying. We understand he's guessing and manipulating it all, so more reason for we to be up on to understand he did. Of course, because of we are the expertises. Alright. Gelhat Ablarik. Bekhoa malfechasiki alfechol flonakibus potnafechani. Skatlevet fochlecht met blaki kat ashmachlaki becharchaman. Skatlen of fechlu quatlevet spachti chabel chasechani. Skotlevet remafechidi with klosuat sat ashmachlaki quad masefen. Melfachidi was fochelcham. Infoclemet semasefachlan. Ablefechol kamal vesikas baatsam. Skor van de fechlikum, ablefechol chalikim, ablefechol chamasinam, in blafechol malchaninim, in sporlefechachim. Skor kamal fechalikim, ablefechachim, ablefechachim. Kort levetchim, ablefechachim eskiva. Elfochol cham. Schol vlechim at levespechti kod levespechat nasim ishkab levechachim. Schol levetchim at lechidi kod levespechti kashki chala matzara. Nechalim. Schol lechem at lechidi kod levespechti chamisim. Schol levetchim at lechidi kod levespechti chal chashov atzum. Glechem at lechem at levespechti chadishmochem at levechachim. Kralik hoog lebefach leblatam en fechati kloaf lesochon matematim mechanikhana fechana. Sket lemefechol plati bespato befechol chan. As het niet genoeg legiti kroes, maar een fechol komats en zijn. Chalchi kanat, chalchi swel, chalva chalim. Skot let aan de fech. Legem al kabiach bat sekelus vochom al abisikim. Skemmer lecha chalchinim. Rechtelijk God, lebeswachtelijk God, lebeswachtelijk kimo, lebesachar, chiba, besacham. De rechat, galibos, ochlet, gewoon beskwad, lechachalikinem. Skov letem op leplich, tati soort, makle, epechal, gat, maasaf. Rebel, gewoon lakiba, waf, ochlo, gatsa, isko, en gem, gali, dansk. Ginonklach, achmet, sinmo. Gelijk God lebesach Massiam. Golfik goed, maar perfect goed, soms Maxim, maar klachtig. شغل مفخلی خواب لبسه شخوی matematik chemisch mitzi nachholen ba'i khoti shvetsi mechvetsi. There is where United Evangelics get in. I call in. Gets got. The serpently earth left Polach not let us back to the Swachel Chatim of Shikach Natsam. Needs to prove that they are right. Needs to be the elements for the destruction of genocide. And where so on, especially in the Legacy. And they are nothing like God, and they always do. And they are nothing like other eyes, and always were aware. So the reality of what they pretended because of they were called sons, and nobody never did. The real one, never. There's the saying that they are cats. And the reality of a son is submission to the father and let the father be to God. And when I went to stagnate, whenever he determined himself, nobody shall be called God except God himself. And the reality shall be paid. So, let me vach tikwa blechash machachim kalechayim. Blechot konetechat mafachachim. And the divine is divine. And whenever I says I called you divine, like I said, is whenever I called you son. But you are son. And you understand that when I knows what he does, because he is divine. And whenever I went to be with him, as he knew, as completely, he is called as divine, is made, is holy. Blefach lachi koad letzmanafechachi bishmatlanafechachi. Nitchamet lachi chatzichan. And the reality of going all around, making all class of a lie, and all class of a manipulative, and all class of a conscience invention. The trading for the tradings of it, the rest because of what they are. With all intentional Sodoma machinery, we do it to you here. All intentional and conscience all the time. Everyone. Abominables. Even the abominablest of through history scares to see them. And the reality of the abominables never stop to live with you. Even now. So, Gelefach lekimot lebesfech lekhasech eshkol chuch namatzich nachim. Ishkal blechachim ikol bletchavefach malchamechit kamachach eshachim. Ukel chebelkli befachol chamelkli mefachol chalikimot lebesfecham. Lechebelfach lakibot lebefech chakimot lebesfech ashkel chalikim. Mefach likod lebefach machalkimot lebefechot lebesket mishpacham. In chalkimot lebesfech lichalimot sosot. Supposedly, I will be just one that thanks this time, and praise and officialisms and bodies, and the whole evangelics saying, thanks he is taught in Hebrew, even now, and thanks he speaks English, and laughs, and also celebrates, telling me thanks with you, that I will have the supposed favor of being destroyed and raped by Sodom and Generación. And then Chavisha. So the reality of Fochol Chamalkida, Sabel Fochol Chalik Machanan, Ramel Focholat Hanabesivish Fochol Chetima. Skapel Mefechol Chalik Machanen, Mefochol, and insistently, Ishkopla Fechol Chanan, and let's talk into the mother. Telling my mother will be my curer, and telling she will be the responsible of the demon. But the reality is, possibly some Mercader trust as squatter, abominable governmental, with the title of psychiatrist, BLYTT, for the playing the Star of Sodoma, erected by the underbelly on top of the world, to say the queen of the humanity will come inside to my door, saying, the madam, my mother, gotta understand this person were not medicated, and you gotta understand he were making damages of everything of this family by the orders of the president of Argentina and the same presidents of the nation. Everything that this family possesses gotta be for the pain damages, and you gotta get out of here, because of this is for the people that it works. Like don't to my friends and my families. And if you don't leave, I'm gonna tell you the intimation is right now. You are gonna be arrested. So whenever resistance delivers into a massive rape and murder. Oh, we've done to it here. Also to Amia, telling offensed and damaged evangelics. And whole Jewish population in Venezuela. Offensed and damaged Cristina Fernandez Kirchner, Miguel Fernandez, officialism. Should I say the qualifying, which everyone else again? Because of no one were off of the reality. And no one is an offense because of whenever we corroborate it, truth is, the truth never constitutes an offense. It's a certain fact. So the certain clear reality of the soul, while keep some genociding all around and making abominations, like names them. Everyone is, with a part of victims, which keeps them murdering all around and raping and robbing. Will be about also, there is not necessarily no doctor. The expertises of the presidents, like down to my friends and the mothers, are gonna talking to the mother. And the talking will be about, oh, don't you see me, underbelly? Ter, come on, you can do it. Or simply, if you don't, I shall kill your family. Well, already premeditated for. Gotta serve the purpose of Sodom underbelly, the generals. Is what they do. So the reality of this, like the certain clear fact I just said about history. White tellers, the generates keeps on saying that they makes me speak. Well, premeditated blekimot, sorry, that blefoto, premeditated blekimot is a very twisty way of saying premeditated, abominable degeneration, to making over profanative, admonitory, selective, possessive witchcraft. It's a very not English and not other, but sounds English and weird. Premeditated kubalat matu. The premeditated is not premeditation, is other meaning in the Afasmats language. Forget me this. You're gonna understand why the stress on the identifying. So suddenly, the clear fact is aplafoch matika bleefoch olishna atsan chanen. Glebeti bafoch lechanalkin mesibachti. So history tells, blachibitzi kublefach muhontish motlemefechel kimot lebesbechi chasim. Ishkab lemefechel kod lekaveshbach chalit shalom. Squad one of Ethnic World with a spot and a Fethel Hanikin of Lafish couple of a Hachimiti. Ishkat level of Fethel Hanakin at a spot with a Fethel Hataki Kumat Leves Kumat. Kelchut Taleif Shochul Kumat Hanikamot. Glemet Hanafochul Kumat Batishmot and a Fethel Hanat Hanabiski. Cashful of a Halkimot and a Fethel Kabalekimot of a specific spot with Hanikimotat. Ishkavir le fachle kol chidatachti kumal pazivish bakhi kumal baski khalmoko la vachati kumal baski botla vachol motlansa reiti kol das matomate chitas motim fachanti mesafo kol kimot leves botla vachati kumal baska vachni shatni and bakish isa at bechli motsu duanek khem Rase bechli kobla bechiti besmorla mafakhatim lebes kable bechotab laptiko skut kable kumal bechatim kobla beskal khamakhati la bechiti kobla bakhotim lebes bakha lebes bakha mafakhatim skot lebes bechti besmorla mafakhat besmorla mafakhi kot so la bechli kumal lebes asasat khalkhine kolay khat swot mobla bechi sofin Galon Babachul Batrin of Lachabekor Bachashachalakim of Triple Foxin Gletron of Levakot Hadim of Lasvik Alachitas Gletratrim of Sofo and Nats Rali Kibola Hedatrin from a Bachat Levesi Gosmokon of Bachatri Kosbotla Tabachalatsi Remichi Retol Kim of Leves Fakol Hatikim Levechol Had Ekol Leves Machatim Der in Konko zu Markli Shoenut Gablech Machitu Amafa Acham Zecholot Lachibot zu Chuluma Bats Ben Chuluma Gelachti Bechol Chalchim Kalbot Chamafechot Hochlut Shotum Avioti Mechanimot Khalveti Bechol Chalatik Mofberes Bachit Bachtat Chotzubus Motzanych Minet Irlachti Chobla Besere Shachach Likatara Smothim Ishkat Chalat Chilitri Kobla Bechol Chadis Motomorphos Nechla Matik Ishkobla Bechmochem Idachli Kobla Bechmochem In Wochen Bechmochem Besidisch Kobla Chachim Skapon of Bechli Koma Besidisch Kach Anachatiki Ishbogla Bechli Kimogla Bechech Skapon of Bechli Chachat Spegla Bechli Kobla Bechli Chomoskobla Bechli Cheshbogla Sach Matlach Zayin Shoen Ravachli Kobla Bechli Besidisch Kobla Bechamachalim Lebes Bechli Chitika Ramagla Bechochanati Keshbogla Bechochana Sachim Shechol Machalibikim of Bechat Sachashem Kilach Machim It is really too weight, really heavy weight about the reality to concern. This same moment of the history we still walk through. This still to remain as way, and we to see it so clear and so nasty. Then, כל לבכם אברכך לשמוכם, לבככם בצע. It is what we never had to know, that wisely understanding. That's no reason. We're the ones that hold the ones that hold all the power. That's abominable, obsessive, vicious, guilty, which are making you nothing but them undervalued to be God for everyone that it says can ever do. And you understand what I say. So what I do. Then, murder there's anyone that says no. And says God is very command. And are we more than dangerous? But God is God. And everyone are going to be dangerous. And God is. The fact of the soul also delivered us into, in the middle of the soul, I kept on being victim and cited and isolated for the same purpose of venom. I'm going to say publicly, I just come to be aware now, I'm not a tattered heart. The real fact, I didn't receive. I didn't receive. Right? I didn't receive. Sorry. You will understand after this. No notice of International Criminal Court, no notice of United Nations, no notice of U.S. Migrations Ministry, which is Interior, United States of America Ministry, no notice of the government of the nation I belong to, Israel. No notice of no International Court of Justice, Supreme Court of Justice. The heck? I didn't receive no notice of Spain, no Italy, no France, no Swiss, and neither from no other state, and no character of no institutional inequality. The fact of the soul delivered into the certain clear act that Cristina Fernanda de Kirchner and officialism keeps on instigating massive rapes and murders and robberies, and the fever of the hell overflowing in the same rotten death meat of every one of them, like they are. Dust to dust. Again, dust to dust. Ashes to ashes. Hell to hell. And what is subordinate to his arms? And who? Not like objects, but everything that belongs to him, living forever and endlessly without life. Then, the clear fact of this kept on making the same old fever, trying to ease and calm down that fever with rape and murder of my generation and anyone that can catch me, like tellers of Sodom and Gomorrah. Curiousness on this. Always were important selectors, which keeps on sending to murder because of the excessive attempts against the patriot, vicious obsessive conscience, permits, proud of abominables, the way they dies, pretending of saying they are government and gotta be obeyed because of their command, and that I mistaken here because of their government and their commands. And everyone that praised saying that in front of Adonai and his name went thereafter to the hell, obstinately, not a mistake, not a word of his consequence. And these are nothing like victims, never were manipulative reason permits. And in the middle of the soul, I didn't receive not document, but even still 28 more credit cards for anyone to reach out in my hands so I could move on and get out of here at a clean way, upon a plane, upon a cargo, upon any transport which distinctly, and not only decently, sorry, of a BLYTT and not only decently but cleanly and clearly, to comb ahead what really had to be. Every word but a clear fact, I am, for the reason of his name, Adonai, and about where I belong to be with, and doing what I got to do on the real one I am, character, as beauty, really. So suddenly, started to making up for the first moment I ever spoken about this with you on NCH, I just ignored. And kept on making up all class of an invention, unfortunately, and a complacency. So suddenly in a time, your runner at NCH asked me, why don't you come to the administration and management offices of Visa Argentina? Credit card. And you ask them if they ever received an order of mine for they to provide you of a black visa you have at the charge of International Criminal Court for whatever you need to budgets in race for you to move on, so you get out of there. So I came to the International Visa International in Argentina offices. And right there, I just wondered and said to me, no, we only moved, and still moving, but banking, home banking, and financing corporations, services, and missions. So the credit card in Argentina and Venezuela moves about whenever you go to request the service, having the right warranty that you can afford whatever the services you're used to, about any account or patrimony or work which can yours directly provide you. In the middle of this all, I had a come to Citibank Argentina at Central Seat, Bartolomé Mitre and San Martin Streets intersection on Aires. The reality of this all were I had received the sent with International Criminal Court and Mr. President Barack Obama black visa with Policía Federal Argentina forging my ID. Just went to steal and telling this is not running from us. Like all the time have done on raping and murdering anyone that wanted to kill me because of they felt love for the name and understood I was genuinely real. And wanting genuinely and with a goodness to try to provide me some kind of an entertainment list, not because of they have you, rough you, rape you, murder you, and some brains. Policía Federal Argentina, armed forces were always the same, abominables. And evangelics praying for the Carnival Cabrera helps them, telling their government, and he knows what they do in their rights, but perhaps it's supposed God, the supposed of them, which is not their God. So the clear fact of this, and forgive me my little moment of some around still. Just happened that were sent to me from International Criminal Court, Spain, Italy, Swiss, UK, France, United Nations, International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice, a very number of plane tickets, notices for judicial justice bodies, and even South Africa. Not coming to South Africa or to the European Union states, but to deliver myself directly to New York City, to license office and International Criminal Court. And in the middle of the soul, even the certain fact from the same Malaysia and Japan, and I never received the thing. And even from my precious, that I love ever, state that I belong with, Israel, I never received the thing. And at the first, with justice bodies and international criminal code from the same U.S. administration of Barack Obama, I hadn't received a gift. I hadn't been receiving it. Never have. And justice bodies with international criminal code at the twice for this. With AMI Argentina, void to me a Ford EcoSport, and not the last model, but the series before, as Buenos Aires are in line of production for the Ford Garini place, Buenos Aires. So the reality of this, Policía Federal Argentina, with Kirchner's, started to making indelatory and telling where is the source of your money that you move and what is this car for, with the teller's expertises, cycles so on. And said captured, and the term wouldn't be kidnapped at the English, but this is at the Spain, Argentinian legal term mentioned, secuestro, which is exactly that, robbery, kidnap. They don't do any other. There is no character of no law, no government. They are abominable experiments, criminals, united, organized, and abominables. And put it under internation, 8,906 persons of AMIA and Jewish communities, because of they said what they were doing and what Federal Police of Argentina and armed forces were doing to our communities, Jewish communities, and our people. And anyone that came and comes, forgive me, to the whatever the reality this fighting and struggled at this disgusting they are doing every day, trying to establish orders and trying to defend the whole state victimizes and commits to massively rape, murder, and robbing, pillory, like doing to me, which I am not under rape, but they pretend to rape my mother and my family first, saying for you to suffer enough and understand with a command. But first, yours, and after you. And I am making this fight, and I'm not giving in, and I'm gonna keep them the way it deserves, and I'm gonna do it. So the fact of this delivered into 1,004 members of Army Argentina were kidnapped under jail and judicial invention by Policía Federal Argentina Metropolitana, CIDE, and Ejército Argentino with Kirchner's Presidents Argentina, and Aníbal Fernández and Cristina Kirchner at the head, and the one that were assigned for the making of me this with the, why don't you give someone else that will ever need this money most? He will go with this money to New York City of a gay tour, conscious that I were coming to international criminal court. Every day we're a nasty degenerates. That's the way they dies. So, at the fact of the soul, this story came at the fact of Sodoma and Gomorrah, Kirchner's and armed forces, and Ejército Argentina. So, the reality of the soul were that car were taken to a whole gender, whole age, and zoophile rapist, degenerate, telling the price for you serve the patriot by raping my people and murdering and killing in them for they to be raped and murdered for our patriot to be strong. This is officialism Argentina, and I supposedly offends them. And I offends the patriot tears and the nation tears. And the whole of the world tells to do to me, and applauses all this are doing to me, saying the whole of the world says. So the reality of this all, International Criminal Court said, give the vehicles, the money, the tickets, the credit cards, and all you've done with it back. And premeditated murdering the judges of International Criminal Court and United Nations and coalition and states and justice parties. For they to say we command and it's doing. All as we to command about our hands and about we to say. It's doing the way we say, every one of you, or we are going to destroy you. And you are going to do what we to command. And I'm sorry for that. It's doing every one of you. It's doing what we say. I'm going to explain you about this. The real expression for this will be, it is done as we to command you, it is done like we tell you or command you to. The right expression this I'm telling you where exactly the terms were expressed in front of the same assemblies of United Nations this past days. But Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner's commensals in front of the whole of the G20 that they said suit me, because of we shall make you understand we command. And the terms they said about this all, the supposed representatives for the supposed state of Argentina, were exactly Berg Otto Tahat Ma'an Kalbi Kosh Be'ech Datsab Ra'ikosu Be'echanun Shmotsu. And they almost murders the government of Israel. And everyone has reality about this one, saying with those terms they had been Israel themselves. And they will become the royal and the throne and the government and the God. That's the plan of Luciano Fabiano and all this 666, like Kirchner's and United Evangelics. That's them purpose. And I suppose the liar. And I need medications because of my liar. I crossed 84,000 vicious, obsessed, desperated degenerates of this in civil cars for about 3 3/4 hours I've been in the streets, which I came to avoid. Right? Wrong? Yes, wrong. Which I came to buy. What I shown ya. Which I came to trend to having a coffee shop moment for networks, which I came to doing the right chat. So that I came to void, but the ones that tells me how to speak, and they speaks for me. Maybe wrong, maybe right, but who makes me speak? So furthermore, forgive me. The certain clear abominable steps machineries, disgusting brazen, disgusting business. Is exactly every day for more. And Amia is suffering with children. The same Ama Brazil, Jewish communities, my friends, my brothers, being destroyed, saying, you gotta hang on, and hitting them and putting them most roast. But most roast. because of they don't want to open the mouth to being raped, because of they don't want to open the lips for being raped, because of they don't want to stop this screaming, because of their rape, because of they says stop it and leave me, because of their rape. So hits them up and puts them most roast at the face, and whenever anybody to see them or shows this murders them, for they say it's gotta be done what they says, even kids, because of their cries and their screams, hits them. And the disgusting, brazen, filthy hell animal, CFK. I'm sorry, she is. Dares to still calling they are a state of rights, and they has right to do in. To what is in them, as human character, as human reality, as whole, as possessions, whatever they choose. And it's exactly what I'm going to show you as well. And also there's the saying we have a bill became law about gender violence, but her expertise is by her himself. I'm sorry, she herself. Forgive me, please. Sorry, she herself sent for making massive rapes and murder. Expertises, armed forces, Kirchner's officialism. They themselves they takes care for this to be accomplished. They themselves goes to raping whole gender, whole age, and forgive me this, please. Does it hurt you? Really? Oh, I'm sorry. You gotta hang on. And after the abduction, manipulation, destruction, telling they were only prostitutes, as male as female, and also 5 years kids. No. 5 years kids. And I am getting more than nervous on this. Forgive me. I'm really angry. I just even clear the fact I came so long understanding happening and fighting and putting them in hell. Still now I pronounce them just a simple telling it. I want to put them there right now. So the clear fact of this is the certain reality. This brazen, filthy business ain't no other and won't be nothing else. Are exactly the ones we can understand. There's nothing to celebrate and nothing to embrace, neither to think about saving, because of whenever there is a victim, a knife puts everything together. It ain't nothing like that in this. Except the ones I already said. Lestes blech de bakterich mafres weg die bakter mafres gaat keeper Scotland of goed wat WhatsApp International Criminal Code, civil actions and others were all kidnapped and families for massive rape and murder already. The number of this is in respect complete, no messed, no orders. The certain fact of this were words, and we know what they want and what they're doing. The premeditations and all they already strategized and all they strategized behind and below the strategized, and the whole the strategizing up on the whole if there anything will fail, and even frustrated the character of this abominables strategizing up on the whole even frustrations as possibilities. I give it this. https www Secreto Presidencia Cristina Fernández de Kirchner Secreto de Estado WXWNWT BBRTMC WWWPTRMTB ASTIC AZZTUIKB but pronounces ASTIC BMDDDT FMDRMCDDDF 13804011113 896164 8076467 2814 384. Middle. Korans says. This is KORRHANC. Middle sys of systems. Middle BRMC 218487. Middle Koskada. KOZKAUE. You understand the UE? There's no UI. It is the Belba, the sign of the Greek Benska. HC. Middle 8481 DRMC 5.int F2. OS recall for the browser frame recall with the same last BLYTT in my account with a careful with this and cleaner and last BLYTT ICC New York and HTTPS www. The secrets of the Kirchner's residence and appraising abominable character of an organization of business of hell. Point 20 F9, just like before. So I offend you, and I shall ever learn that all I said, which is exactly the fact, is a misrespecting you and misplaced being, and also being bad educated. Should I giving you again the parable? Because of the bad educated royalty of God in Israel telling the truth, at the real actual, I am the author. I can have the rights to switching at the consumer. Right? Telling the truth compromises in front of the justice for the fact of the well-educated, pedophilic, zoophilic, chestophilic, gerontophilic, familyphilic, genophilic, murderer, genocider, fortune, degenerate, abominable, sodomaki, prostitute of powers, abominables, murderers, organizers of criminals, corruptors, prostituers, degenerates, squatters of powers, values humanity remaining, and all associated abominable, pretender of homeland and patriot, pretends there to be the will and to bend the supposed bad educated morals, law, justice, fair, truthful, clear, clean, honorable, name of God, and the way of He commandment to me, and all of Israel. But the truth is truth, and the justice is going to be testified here for the name of Allah. October 3rd, 2014, 1826. Buenos Aires, 100 million company. Forgive me that. And my neurosis.